For some people, encountering a colossal shark is the stuff of their worst nightmares. But whether you love them or hate them, sharks are amazing creatures, and there are some incredibly big ones out there. With that in mind, here are the 20 largest monster sharks ever caught on camera. Number 20. The world's biggest tiger shark. Although the tiger shark is more likely to be doing the catching, there are occasions when a truly gigantic tiger shark is captured, either by accident or indeed by those who are out seeking trophies or perhaps even revenge. Some of the most dangerous sharks in the world's oceans, the tiger shark is second only to the fearsome great white in their body count for attacks on humans. They're frequently responsible for attacks on surfers in Australian waters and may well find kill orders on their heads. These creatures are considered nearly endangered in the contemporary world, as there's been so much trophy hunting and fishing by people in recent years. It's no wonder these mighty creatures are mad at people and would bite your leg off as soon as look at you. Some of the biggest examples of the tiger shark that have ever been fished are recorded at 5 meters long. There are some tall tales out there with some insane stories attached, like that of a fisherman known only as Matthew, who was alleged to have caught a massive tiger shark off the coast of Byron Bay in Australia in 2015. Much to the entertainment of the entire internet, the guy claimed that he had caught the toothy whopper as it swallowed whole a smaller hammerhead shark that he had been reeling in. It is quite the fishy tale indeed. Number 19. The giant hammerhead shark. Florida fishermen made the evening news with their catch of the day a few years back. The lucky guys had an encounter with an extraordinary 13-foot-long hammerhead shark in the waters off Sebastian Island in Florida. The three guys had filmed their amazing catch as they managed to bring the shark into more shallow water to get a look at the fruits of their labor. The fishermen had been out in the Gulf of Mexico, using the hammerhead's favorite bait, the stingray, with the hopes of catching a big one. But when they realized that they had snagged a gigantic shark, they could not believe their good fortune. The hammerhead caught on the line was about 200 yards out to sea, so the men wrestled the magnificent animal for more than half an hour to get it towards the beach. They got their epic photos and then released the shark back into the sea. They were overwhelmed with the sheer strength of the massive shark and thoroughly enjoyed their unique close-up experience with this beautiful beast. That shark doesn't look quite so thrilled with the unexpected trip to the beach, though now does it? Number 18. Huge Mako shark in California. The main sight of a huge 1,300-pound Mako shark strung up by its tail is the ultimate result for a group of shark fishermen from Huntington Beach, Los Angeles. These guys get together for a spot of shark fishing about 20 days out of the year, and sometimes they get lucky, and sometimes the shark is even more lucky. On this particular day back in 2013, they took a boat out into the waters off the California coast, sprinkled some of what they call their secret sauce onto the surface, and that sauce consists of the shark-enticing combination of chopped up mackerel and ground chum. Delicious. Fairly quickly, there was an interested customer. A whopping great big Mako shark was circling, and looking for some tasty treats. The fisherman would then hook the shark and spend 2.5 hours wrestling the colossal creature in order to bring it onto the boat. Johnston, the boat's captain, said afterwards that it was the scariest thing he'd ever done in his life. You just have to wonder how the shark felt about it, though. Number 17. Whale shark caught in Pakistan. The largest of the sharks, the whale shark is a mighty ocean beast, but the colossal creature caught in the Arabian Sea by a group of Pakistani fishermen is a terrifyingly large example. The fishermen discovered the already dead whale shark and took it back to Karachi, Pakistan. Measuring 40 feet long, this huge catch was a sight to behold. Upon reaching the harbor, the gigantic carcass was hoisted onto the shore in order to display it to the amazed crowds of people before being sold for meat. It's disturbing but also fascinating. The rarely spotted whale shark is actually a protected species, so don't even think about powering up your tugboat and then trying to reel in one of these epic creatures. Number 16. Monster great white shark. You should never forget to expect the unexpected from us here at the Thought Trail. Today, we're bringing you the distinctly fishy story of a monster great white shark. But unlike the others that we've been looking at today, this one is neither in the deep ocean nor causing a hoo-ha at the seaside. Oh no! This great white shark is bunging up some guy's freezer. Yes, this is the sinister story of a veteran shark hunter and his 30-year-old catch. Vic Hislop caught this monster great white shark off the coast of Australia, near Hervey Bay, Queensland, all the way back in 1988. It had been his trophy catch, apparently, and he'd been so thrilled with it that he took it home and then popped it into the freezer. Look at the size of it. I mean, what do these trophy hunters do with their massive catches on the usual? Anyways, it was too big for a regular old freezer, of course, and so Vic had to build a massive refrigerated trailer in his backyard to keep the wretched thing, which he did for 30 years. He then decided he was bored with it, so he put it up for sale as one does and tried to flog it for $30,000. A veritable bargain, really. It's just what I always wanted. A few hundred pounds of really old, decaying shark meat. Delightful. Oh, and it turns out that this is totally illegal, and selling the protected species online is not only frowned upon, it's actually against the law. Now it's time for today's topic. A group of fishermen off the coast of Norway experienced a nightmare they'll never forget when their boat was attacked and snapped in half by what they describe as a monster shark. The incident occurred during a routine fishing trip in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. According to the survivors, the attack happened without warning. A massive shadow emerged beneath the boat, and within seconds, the vessel was struck with such force that it split in two. The fishermen, thrown into the icy waters, clung to debris until they were rescued by a nearby vessel. Shaken and terrified, they described the creature as a shark of unimaginable size, with a mouth large enough to engulf the boat's stern. "It was like something out of a nightmare," one of the fishermen said. "I swear I'll never go back to the sea again." The story has sparked wild speculation, with some claiming the creature could be a surviving megalodon, the prehistoric shark thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago. However, skeptics argue it was likely an ordinary shark, albeit a massive one, that attacked the boat. Whether it was a modern giant or a relic of the past, the encounter has left the fishermen and the world questioning what truly lurks in the ocean's depths. Number 15. Massive hammerhead shark. When Greg Norman, who is mostly known for his golfing skills, went out for a spot of fishing off the Florida coast, he also wound up showing off the fact that he's kind of good at fishing as well. Norman was in this video on the Black to Page channel by a man named Josh Jorgensen. The footage captures a fishing trip out of Palm Beach County, where Norman reeled in a monster catch. The pair were out on Norman's own 41-foot boat when they captured this awesome footage from the drone camera overhead. It shows this huge hammerhead shark as it chases down a blacktip shark. That is one big hammer. And the thing is, though, they were busy hooking that blacktip when suddenly the hammerhead flew in over the top of the smaller shark. It circled around, capturing the blacktip and swallowing it. The fishermen managed to catch a hold of the colossal hammerhead, and it measured 14 feet, 7 3/8 of an inch, and weighed over 1,200 pounds. They kept it up alongside the boat to see if it was okay, and then they released it again. The largest ever hammerhead would be caught that weighed 1,300 pounds, so there's a real possibility that this one could have also been a record breaker. Number 14. Queen of the ocean caught and tagged. It is a pretty rough hand to be dealt when you're a gigantic 13-foot-long shark and somehow you manage to be bitten by an even bigger predator. Got it. She got it. Let's give her a piece. This massive shark was part of a research trip by scientists off the coast of Nova Scotia. When they hauled the creature out to the ocean, they managed to tag it and take down a whole list of useful information about the animal before releasing it back into the water. Named Vimy by the researchers, the shark had a huge wound on its head, a bite mark from another shark. The science guys said that it was likely another male shark that was in a fight over a female, or even the female herself objecting to Vimy's attempts to mate with her. They added that shark mating is generally very violent and often results in multiple bites, which usually happens to the head. Whatever bit the shark, one thing is for certain: it had to be pretty hefty itself to fit Vimy's sizable bits inside of its mouth. Number 13. Record-breaking hammerhead shark. This local fisherman from Texas had been fishing in the waters in the Gulf of Mexico for 20 years but had never had a catch quite like this one before. He broke the Texas state record for his monster-sized hammerhead shark that he and his friends had reeled in under the light of the moon. We see 400, and only the tail was up, and so we knew. It's all very romantic, I'm sure. The truly weird and wonderful shape of the unique hammerhead shark may seem like something straight out of the pages of a fantasy novel, but these awesome creatures are adapted to finding food in the most efficient and highly specialized way you can imagine. That's right, their massive old mallet-shaped noggin is actually a big old food scanner. A hammerhead shark is not only able to see a more broad area on account of their extremely wide-set eyes, but their actual head is essentially a food detector. Inside of that odd-shaped bonce is actually a whole collection of sensory organs, and it's a set of clever stuff that can detect electrical fields that are created by prey animals. It's especially well attuned to the frequency of its favorite dinner, being the stingray. In all of the recording of such things, there have only been 17 unprovoked attacks by hammerheads on humans and 0 fatalities. These sharks really are somewhat fixated on hunting and eating stingrays, and they're not the least bit interested in eating you. No offense, though. Number 12. The megamouth shark. If you were under the misguided belief that all sharks were essentially the same kind of big-mouthed nightmares, then I'm sorry to have to break it to you, but you are quite wrong, my friend. There's a particular species of shark that is so revoltingly terrifying in the facial hole department that you may never sleep again now that you've seen it, and I'm not sorry about that. Although this monstrous sea creature is all things terrifying, it's also mercifully rare. In fact, the hideous beast actually has only been spotted less than 100 times ever since it was first discovered. Anyways, these megamouth sharks live in deep water, which is one of the reasons that we human scaredy cats will rarely come into contact with them. But they do occasionally get themselves caught up in fishing gear, like this one that was caught by a group of fishermen who were a few miles off the coast of Aso Port in Japan's Mie Prefecture, in the middle of an area of the mainland. And luckily for us, the fishermen took some video of the crazy catch so that we can all enjoy more accurately and have more vivid nightmares. They reckon that the massive creature was around 16.5 feet long and probably weighed around a ton. That is a sizable bad dream right there. Number 11. World's biggest shark. Now we have arrived for Alf Dean's long-standing big fishing record, except this one is mired in controversy, and is disputed as a genuine record in some circles on account of technicalities and general rules about fair play. So for many that are out there, it is the 1959 record that still holds the crown, and this one falls wide of the mark. Let's find out what happened. This particular salty old sea dog went by the name of Captain Frank Mundus, and he's apparently the man who inspired Captain Quint from the movie Jaws. But that sort of accolade is often just the tiniest bit debatable. Anyways, as the story goes, it was 1986 when Mundus and a guy named Donnie Braddock used a 150-pound test line to reel in a 3,427-pound great white shark. This would smash all the other records clear out of the water. So the facts needed to be correct and procedures needed to be followed perfectly, but they were not. The shark itself had been feeding on a dead whale at the time of the apparent encounter, and Braddock actually used a hook to get a hold of the shark in the first instance. Both of these things would technically void any kind of record attempt, as they were against the International Game Fish Association's record rules. So it turns out the guys were not playing fair. As it goes, there were some out there who were happy to accept that this catch was, in fact, the biggest rod and reel catch ever, but that pesky thing with the hook and the dead whale and all, it kind of spoils it a bit now, doesn't it? But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Number 10. Giant thresher shark. The aliens have landed. You can be forgiven for thinking that this was an extraterrestrial life form, given its bizarre appearance, but this is actually not leaked footage from inside Area 51. This bug-eyed alien was actually caught in the waters just off the Florida Keys. Captain Nick is a seasoned fisherman who takes excitable groups out on very successful fishing trips for swordfish. He is the best that there is in this challenge, having caught and released more swordfish than anyone else on the planet. So the guy, well, he knows how to catch big stuff. But even he would be surprised when, after a 2.5-hour wrestling match, the team actually reeled in what was not a swordfish but an enormous big-eye thresher shark. These cool-looking monsters have huge eyes so they can hunt at deep levels in the ocean where the light is low and then towards the surface at night in the dark as well. The big-eye thresher shark also makes a weird selfie, so all the people out on the boat that day uploaded a pretty unique post to Instagram. The shark was definitely doing it for the gram, and it looks insane even in the low light. Number 9. The largest bull sharks ever caught. Most people have heard of great white sharks, and they're definitely to be avoided if you value your limbs, but as it happens, you should probably know that most shark attacks on humans are really actually bull sharks. They're also known as Zambezi sharks due to just how often they pop up for a snack in the Zambezi River. The largest ever caught and measured was during a survey of these formidable beasts in the Breed estuary of South Africa in 2009. The humongous female was measured at a whopping 4 meters. I don't really know how big that makes the teeth, but I wouldn't want to poke about in there to find out. The research team recorded this bull shark's info, tagged her, and then sent her off again. The shark's behavior was then tracked for the following couple of days, and what they discovered would be super scary. The shark did take a little jaunt out to sea, but mainly spent her time idly pursuing the boats on the river and anglers on the shore, eyeing up a snack or two along the way. All those arms and legs, they look like cartoon hams. It seems as though she was taking notes on the latest dining hotspots along the estuary and probably not just to write up a useful guidebook to the area. If I were you, I would avoid a dip in those waters. Number 8. Massive bull shark in Sydney Harbor. Here we are back in 2015 in Sydney Harbor with a fisherman named Damon Smith-Horak, who had a surprising catch on the end of his line. Yes, he apparently went ahead and reeled in this monster-sized bull shark. Took over 2 hours of heaving and reeling, and I mean, how much do you actually want to catch a massive shark? It seems a bit weird, but really, what do I even know? Anyways, he wound up on the evening news with his mighty fish, which was 10 feet long and weighed 450 pounds. Damon said that it was one of the biggest sharks he had ever seen, let alone caught on a fishing line, and said that he thought it was going to eat the boat. But it didn't, and they returned to the shore with the enormous marine creature. Damon said that the shark's presence was a good sign for how much cleaner the waters of the harbor had become in recent times. Authorities were less enthusiastic, though, because it meant that the shark nets that are supposed to protect the areas of beaches from dangerous predators were riddled with holes that were plenty large enough for sharks to swim through. Number 7. Prehistoric shark. While we at the Thought Trail are not averse to a little silliness from time to time, this particular story is so very silly that even we are left with questions. This is some footage from Pakistan, which alleges to show what people have said is a gigantic prehistoric shark that's been extinct for over 20 million years. Now, From time to time, we're surprised by certain creatures that we thought were no longer kicking about, but 20 million years? Isn't that just a tiny bit silly? The footage itself is grainy and poorly lit, which only adds to the mystery and allows imaginations to run wild. Some viewers have pointed out that the shark's movements appear sluggish, which is consistent with large, cold-water species like the Greenland shark. Others, however, have latched onto the idea that this could be a living fossil, a term often used to describe species that have remained unchanged for millions of years. Marine biologists have dismissed these claims, explaining that the shark's size and shape are well within the range of known species like the great white or basking shark. The internet, of course, has taken the story and run with it, with memes and wild theories popping up across social media platforms. Some have even suggested that the footage was staged, using clever camera angles and editing to make the shark appear larger than it actually is. Despite the lack of credible evidence, the story has sparked renewed interest in prehistoric marine life and the possibility of undiscovered species in the ocean's depths. It's a classic case of how a little mystery and a lot of imagination can turn a mundane sighting into a viral sensation. Initially, people thought that this was a great white, and it probably is, but then the rumor mill began to churn, and well, we ended up with all of this prehistoric nonsense. They've even gone so far as to say that this is the parent of the Megalodon. Oh, just stop it. That's quite enough now. Number 6. Great white shark in Hawaii. While spotting a great white shark would have most of us swimming extremely rapidly in the opposite direction and running for the safety of dry land, there is one woman who couldn't believe her luck when she happened upon a gigantic and super famous great white shark known as Deep Blue. Yes, this shark certainly gets around now, doesn't she? Anyways, marine biologist with the uncannily appropriate name of Ocean Ramsey swam with the old lady of the sea off the coast of Hawaii, and she said her incredible encounter filled her heart with joy and took her breath away. That's a brave woman, and I'd certainly be breathless, but more likely from all the sprinting I would be doing as I ran away in terror. Though Ramsey maintains that the great whites are really just misunderstood and they swim around people all day long without eating them, so that's good then, I guess. She reckons that in all of her years of studying the behaviors of sharks, she's rarely seen them make a mistake with what they're eating. Now, I can't really determine how reassuring that is. Great white sharks don't necessarily want to eat people, that much is true. Shark bites are usually just a taste test to see if the creature in the shark's mouth is the one that they actually want to eat. Apparently, they don't like the taste of people very much, but even if a shark only gives you a little sample nibble, that bite will likely as not leave you sleeping with the fishes anyways. Number 5. Huge sleeper shark. Next up, we have one of those big fish stories. This is some footage of slightly dubious origin, initially released and alleged to have been filmed by a bunch of Japanese marine biologists in the Mariana Trench of all places, about a mile beneath the surface in the deepest part of the ocean that we know. Except that when it transpired that maybe it wasn't filmed down there at all, perhaps the footage was actually taken in Suruga Bay in Japan. But really, whatever the origin, the outcome is still the same. It appears to show a really big shark that is suddenly illuminated before disappearing into the dark. The eerie lighting and the shark's sudden appearance have led to widespread speculation online, with some claiming it could be a previously undiscovered species. Others have suggested it might be a Greenland shark, known for its massive size and ability to live in deep, cold waters. The lack of clear context or additional footage has only added to the mystery, fueling debates among marine enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists alike. Some skeptics argue that the size of the shark may have been exaggerated due to the camera angle and the distortion caused by the water. Meanwhile, marine biologists have pointed out that sleeper sharks are known to inhabit deep waters and can grow to impressive lengths, making this sighting plausible. The footage has also sparked renewed interest in the Mariana Trench and the potential for other large, undiscovered creatures lurking in its depths. Regardless of its origin, the video has captivated viewers, blending the thrill of the unknown with the fear of what might be hiding in the ocean's darkest corners. It's a reminder of just how little we truly know about the deep sea and its inhabitants. The estimates for the size of this sleeper shark are that it could have measured as much as 23 feet, but then again, nobody can be quite sure about any of it at all. So who could possibly say? Number 4. Giant basking shark. This shark was so very large indeed that it really did set off a bunch of questions, perhaps legitimately, of whether this was a megalodon. I mean, probably not, those things are extinct, but it is one big-ass shark nonetheless. Megalodons were a species that was believed to have been the largest shark to ever exist, and it has been estimated that the adult megalodon might have been as long as 30 feet. But some people, there are always a few now, aren't there, they reckon that the megalodon was 80 feet long. The discovery of this basking shark reignited debates about whether megalodons could still exist in the unexplored depths of the ocean. Some enthusiasts pointed to the vastness of the ocean as evidence, claiming that creatures of such size could easily remain hidden. Marine biologists, however, were quick to dismiss these theories, explaining that a predator as large as a megalodon would require an enormous food supply, making its presence impossible to miss. The basking shark, while massive, is a filter feeder, surviving on plankton and posing no threat to humans. Its gentle nature and slow movements often lead to mistaken identity, as its size alone can be intimidating. The incident served as a reminder of how little we truly know about the ocean and the creatures that inhabit it, sparking curiosity and fascination among the public. The shark that was accidentally caught by a trawler in the waters off Portland in southeastern Australia is no such creature. While it might be big, it is basically harmless. This is a basking shark, which happens to be the second largest shark species in existence today. They can grow up to about 26 feet long, so that's still pretty impressive, but sadly not some miraculous relic from a prehistoric era. Number 3. Giant sharks attack submarine. This footage was captured by an OceanX expedition in a submarine, showing a very large and quite sinister sort of shark as it swims into the sub and even chews on the spear gun for a moment. The shark is a blunt-nosed six-gill. These ancient creatures can be traced from an extremely old lineage that has its roots over 180 million years ago in the fossil record. They reckon that this deep-sea creature is likely one of the largest sharks in the world, although they are rarely seen. It's believed the creatures can grow to over 16 feet long and can weigh more than a ton. They have live births, and a female blunt nose like this can have as many as 80 pups in a single litter. Mostly, these kinds of sharks will eat all kinds of gross and dead stuff in the ocean, but they're not opposed to attacking prey when they get the chance. Mostly, they are super deep-dwelling. They live generally between 650 to 3,300 feet below the surface, and some are known to live even deeper at 5,000 feet. Very little else is really known about this particular species. Researchers do hope to find a way to tag some of them so that they may learn some more about their habits and their behaviors. Number 2. The Greenland shark. Slow-moving Greenland sharks are rarely captured on film. That's because they prefer the cold and deep waters of the North Atlantic and Arctic region, so they don't really land in people's boats like the more infamous sharks out there in warmer waters. However, these big guys are truly extraordinary. First of all, the Greenland shark is absolutely massive. These extraordinary creatures can reach lengths of up to 24 feet and weigh as much as 3,100 pounds. The sizes are bigger than any of the sharks that we've encountered so far, and even the biggest of great whites. An apex predator, the Greenland shark will eat mostly fish, but it has been known to indulge in the odd seal, moose, or even polar bear. Perhaps one of the most incredible things about this shark is how long that they can live. They have the longest lifespan of any vertebrate and can live between 300 to 500 years. A study of the species in 2016 would discover a shark that had been born between 1504 and 1744, and that's just mind-blowing. A shark that may have been born when Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel is still alive and swimming today. It's no wonder that these sharks move so slowly, because they have all the time in the world. Number 1. Fisherman catches goblin shark. When this goblin shark was captured by Florida shrimp fishermen in the Gulf of Mexico back in 2014, it was only the second time ever that there had been a recorded sighting of one of these rarely seen sharks in these waters. And no doubt it was a bit of a shock for them when they saw it too. The crew of fishermen were fishing off the coast of Key West in the Gulf of Mexico when they had their surprise catch. The creature was 15 feet long and came up in a net full of shrimp from 2,000 feet beneath the surface. Once they had hoisted it up, they then released the shark back into the depths where it belongs. The deep-sea-dwelling goblin shark is like a nightmare combination of frightening alien face and squashed-up dinosaur shark. It's actually horrific, but I shouldn't judge something on its appearance. I know that's not fair. Are these guys really as scary as they look? Well, let's find out. With a long snout on the top and a set of very sharp teeth on the bottom, this shark seems equipped enough to do some predatory stuff. It has a weird technique for catching its prey. The goblin shark can eject its jaws and send them out in a dangerous and snapping motion to grab the passing prey. Then it will simply reel its jaw back in and scoff the catch. That's spooky. This long-nosed monster shark is actually, and mercifully, much lazier than many other sharks. Its sluggish behavior means it's not likely to expend a whole lot of energy in a high-speed pursuit. And given one look at this freaky fish, no doubt you'd be able to outswim it on fear alone. I'm glad that one's finished. These guys give me the creeps. Well, that's all from the disturbing depths for today. Which of these sharks will be swimming into your nightmares? As always, you can share your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, be sure to check out the other cool things appearing on the screen. I'll see you next time.